What's up, everybody? This is the Rabid Hedgehog, and this is still with Indian of Oklahoma City. And this time, because there's been a lot of changes to this motorcycle since the last time I've rode it, we are going to be riding the couch on wheels. That is right, the Indian Roadmaster. Now, this one has the 111 engine. Now, last time I got to ride this bike, it was the first model year. It didn't have all the gadgets and equipment they do now. It also was carrying a passenger. My wife was with me that day, but today she is not with me on the back today. But we still get to ride a fantastic machine, right? Now, of course, the Elite has the updated or the upmarked paint, I should say, has some different trim bits on it. We have the stereo that goes to the back as well. And the speakers here and there and there. Very beautiful machine, actually. I like the blue color on this one. Of course, you get one touch trunk. Pop that right there. Has your accessories and stuff like that. You got your air for your shocks on it. Make sure that's latch. We're good. Saddlebags are nice and deep as well. They are quick release off the bike, so it's easier to maintain. Of course, they're lockable, central lockable. Everything's LED on this motorcycle as well, so that changes things quite a bit. We'll go ahead and climb up on this bad girl here. Now, one thing is, this is a motorcycle that is in the 900-pound range, and this thing doesn't feel like it. Whenever you get it off the stand, it is already there, so it's so easy to get off the stand and get going. Now, I will say that you have a lot of fun little storage places. You got the storage here in the lower fairings. You got your storage here in the upper fairing. You have a lot of control gadgets to go with. Now, the Elite also adds these auxiliary gauges here. You have fuel and voltage right there. Of course, you have your central locking as described and your heated grips right there. All right, same with almost all the Indians. You pop that on. Ride command comes up. There we go. You have this bottom toggle here that scrolls through your different screens. You got your radio, which works very well. I know everybody wants to hear it, but copyright things kill it. So, unfortunately, I can tell you what it does, but I can't show you what it does because people get mad. Of course, you have your navigation screen. You have your split screen, which kind of gives you vehicle status with your navigation. Tells you when all your engine hours are, how much you got until oil change, all that good stuff. Of course, you can split that with your infotainment side. You can do all trip computer. Gives you your tire pressures and everything. That's actually kind of cool. I wish more people would do that. I wish motorcycles would all have that. I'm hoping they get to that eventually. So what we'll do is we'll leave it on vehicle status. And of course, on the gauges, you have your analog speedo, you have your analog tacho. Of course, you have your cruise control lights, one of them being that it's initiated, one of them being that it's set. Left turn, bright, neutral, fuel, side stand. You can switch this in the menu between kilometers an hour and miles per hour, so it will dial correctly there. Gear indication, current odometer reading, and then you got your chassis warning, something that may have gone wrong with it, or chassis fault. Tire pressure monitoring, oil, battery, right turn signal, ABS, and service engine light. Cruise control is going to be on the right side of the motorcycle. You press that in, it turns it on. You set it by going left, you up or down, going left and right, depending on what you got. Turn that off by pressing in. This is power window. If you double tap it up, it raises all the way to the maximum position. You double tap it down, it goes all the way down to the low position. You can obviously hold it as well, and that way it just goes to where you want it. Now, in the upper position, I am 6 foot tall. I actually am looking right through where the top is basically at my eye level, so I see like that point. I like keeping this in the down position, so I will go ahead and do that. Alrighty, and of course, like I said, we got that toggle switch. You have bright, flash to pass by pushing down, horn, pretty decent horn. Of course, you have your information here if you want to go through that on the bar. And you have your radio control, which is volume up, volume down, and seek, scan, left and right there. So that's that controls your volume and stuff. Hopefully that didn't carry through. Okay, of course you can hit these hard buttons, and that gives you your split screen, that gives you your audio, that gives you your phone connection, and that gives you your Navi. So like I said, I'm going to go back to vehicular status. And with all Indians, hold to start. Alrighty. Now this one does not have a heel toe shifter. Oh, I forgot to mention, they do have these vents down here. You can kick that with your foot if you wanted to. So they do have that on both sides. Forgot to mention that. But yeah, it does have these large floorboards on the Elite. I wish it had heel toe. It just has the single toe shift. But we can't win them all. Now this is not a modified 111. This is just a 111. So it's the one we have learned to love and respect and ride. Now turn signals are self-canceling. I just have a habit of canceling since they're right there. As you can see, it is 90 degrees right now, and this is of course a big old air-cooled V-twin. So we're going to talk about heat when this thing starts getting up in temperature. See how it does. Now of course in the lower position, I'm going to get some helmet buffeting a little bit at the very top of it. I will go ahead and max it out and let you know. Listen if you can on that microphone, there is no wind noise whatsoever. I'm completely isolated going forward from the wind. Of course it's got that vent right there. It's causing that turbulent air to go away. But it's hot. Let's get it back down. There we go. And as you can see on the fly, it'll lower itself back down to that double tap. Now overall wind protection, even down here at the legs, is actually fantastic. I got those vents open. Like I said, we you can see the heat. Of course, we also had the humidity today. It's 70-some% humidity, so it is blurg. It feels horrible right now. Engine braking is fantastic. Now this is not a hydraulically actuated clutch. This is a standard cable actuated clutch, and clutch pull is very light. So don't worry about getting a bike that's going to hurt your hand. It's actually a super light cable operated clutch to pull in, kind of like a Kawasaki. You can do it one-fingered. And it's a travel, it does get about halfway before friction zone is found. So a little bit more than halfway even, so it feels like it's getting toward the end of the travel there. But still, pretty easy to handle. In fact, you're not trying to put power down or anything, you're just trying to cruise, and that's not a bad place for it to pick up. Now, when you're going about city streets like we are right now, we're burbling along a little over 45 miles an hour right now, under 2,000 RPMs in 6th gear. Bike still has actually very good roll-off power. Would recommend that if you're at this speed though, you will need a drop of gear to get a little bit faster for passing. But other than that, I mean, even then, it still has decent enough pull in this top gear at this speed. So even though we're not in the power band, it's still working great. Mirrors are fantastic. I actually have to strain to see my shoulder there on either side. This is so amazing though, that this bike being near 900 pounds, or a little bit over actually, I mean, it's just so easy to move this bike around. It does not make sense. That was one of the first things I noticed whenever I started riding one of these Roadmasters the last time. Despite the fact that it was all that heft, it didn't feel like it. It feels so much lighter. It feels like a 700-pound motorcycle or less. I mean, my MGX can fling, you know, and it is a 700-pound bike. It is in the 700s, and this one feels right along with it. It's incredible. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, big old fog light button right there. You can turn those on and off right there. Kind of forget when you don't need to use fog lamps that often. Engine braking, fantastic. Alrighty. Hop her up on here where she's the best. Big roads, wide open spaces. Woohoo! See, this big old girl gets up to speed just fine. Alrighty, now that we have gotten to true highway speed, we are running at 70 miles an hour at approximately 2,700 RPM. Of course, we will be slowing down because we got some construction up ahead and a nice slow semi. And like I said, when it comes to the cruise control, you literally just go boop and boop. There you go. You can see it fully activated. Now you can have your right hand for absolutely nothing but steering. And right now I am going against the wind, so we had that semi right there, right in front of me. And now beside me, and you know, this thing is so commanding of the road. I don't feel any twitch of wind coming off that semi. No side blast, no nothing moved this motorcycle at all. All this wind protection working very, very well. Like I said, if you could hear it through the microphone, there is a little bit of buffeting at the top of my helmet, so that is causing a little noise. But to be honest, it is tolerable. It's not anything that I'm, you know, bothered with. It's just something that's there. Handling this very broken, under construction road quite nicely. The suspension on the Roadmaster feels so good. When it comes to the Harley Davidsons, that suspension is very lack of travel. I mean, you could definitely tell that it needs a little bit more. This adds over an inch of travel to what Harley Davidsons normally would be, and you feel it. It makes it much more comfortable. But they do it in a way that the bike is really well suspended, and that it doesn't feel soft. It feels perfect. So it doesn't hamper the steering or anything on this bike at all. It feels so good. It just, as you can see, it just rocks easily. And when you dive into corners, you're touching floorboards down so quickly, it stuns you. Now, seating position is literally sitting in your recliner at home is what it feels like. This bike is super comfortable. Your legs come out, you can hug the tank nicely, your feet go straight down. It's just beautiful. And of course, you're sitting kind of a little bit back, not quite straight up, you're actually slightly back, like I said, in a lounge chair, but your arms comes down and straight out, fist in the wind, and it's just a comfortable riding position. And like I said, I'm going straight into this south wind, and this is a gnarly, hopefully you can see those trees, what they're doing and all that. This is a gnarly, probably near 30 mile an hour wind right now. And this bike is just so beautifully riding along. And like I said, with a little bit of buffet, I can get rid of that. I can push that up right there. There's no more buffet. Now the wind protection is perfect. But I know some people are not fans of staring right through a windshield. They don't like the distortions. They don't like, you know, some of the stuff that comes with it. And to be honest, I don't care to look through a windshield. It doesn't bother me. It's just warm. So like I said earlier, I'm just gonna keep that down so I can stay kind of cool. We're just burbling right along here, right around 60 miles an hour too. And we're only pulling right under 2,500 RPM. This engine is not being taxed at all. It's just cruising the way life should be. One thing you can't do in a group ride is ride a steady, constant speed. You're always constantly trying to stay with the people. And getting to take this out by itself, you get to feel what this bike is all about. You get to use the lanes of traffic. You get to feel it out. You get to rock back and forth. And this bike is way better than I remember it being. I remember liking the Roadmaster. Of course, I don't have a passenger today. I'll add a passenger, maybe redo the video or do another one with passenger. But this bike has been a fantastic riding machine. It's just so well put together. I mean, everything feels tight. I don't hear any weird clunking or horrible plastic noises or anything like that. I kind of get that from some of the bikes I ride. Even my MGX will have a little bit of plastic clunky here and there. Of course, I did remove the big windshield off of it, and that took away that noise. I just kept it back to the little bubble one. But this one's just so fantastic. It's just such an easy riding machine. I just want to shut up and cruise. It's not the loudest bike either, so you don't get all that noise to disturb your ride. You get a pretty background noise. Puts a smile on your face. Like I said, the suspension is handling all these little bumps and expansion joints and all that very, very well. This bike is just designed to soak up miles like a sponge. And it's just so surprising how much lighter this feels than other touring bikes in its class. And I even have to say that getting off the side stand, despite this one's weight disadvantage, it does feel lighter pulling off the side stand than my MGX 21, because that bike holds a lot of weight up in those big air-cooled heads. Now on the heat, been riding this around for a little bit. I rode it, a little bit before I got to my destination to do the walk around, and now I'm riding it here. So it's been on the road for a good time now, about an hour, and the heat is not bad actually. The heat, I can feel it kind of on the inner part of my shins, but with those vents open, all I gotta do is pull my legs away slightly like that, and it blows that heat back around, so I don't really feel it. And I might feel a little tinge on the right side on the upper thigh, and that's about it on the heat. It's not anything that's bothersome. All I gotta do is shift a little bit, and now it's gone. So it's just finding your spot on this bike that takes away and shifts any of that additional heat off of you. Man, this bike is just so fun to ride. It's so easy. I mean, it's so weird that a big bike like this just puts a big smile on your face and makes you happy. It's just so comfortable though. And the one thing is like, even with all that wind, that forward mounted fairing here, I don't really feel that much, jiggling in the handlebars or anything like that from wind, blast, or disturbance. So the fairing is designed really well, and it deflects the wind very well and doesn't suffer from it. It's not like a brick pushing against the wind. So this is a great touring package. Of course, like I said, this is the Elite, so it does have some extra amenities like the updated sound system, these extra auxiliary lights and stuff like that. Has a little bit of extra stuff to it, but the Roadmaster is pretty much this motorcycle with only a couple of those tidbits missing. Rides the same, so if you're looking for a fantastic touring bike, big American V-twin, go ahead and take this one for a ride. Check it out. See what you think of it. I mean, I know it's not going to be as fast or as powerful as the Goldwing or the K1600. I mean, this is not a very powerful motorcycle. It's not a very fast accelerating motorcycle. It just gets up to cruising speed and does it perfectly. It's a great, perfect cruiser. So it's not powerful where you're just going to rip into the throttle and just go crazy and do wheelies and all that. You can add a 116 kit for that, that's for sure, but I mean, you can see it doesn't accelerate like hard. It accelerates just right. It accelerates to cruising speeds and cruises very nicely, very smooth. Nice, just great package, great riding machine. Recommend the Roadmaster still to this date. Like I said, I like the new ride command features. The old one was just the old one, the old analog gauges with the little red screen in the middle. I'll take a picture of that and show you what the old ones used to look like if you guys don't remember. But this is a great riding machine. Thank you, Indiana of Oklahoma City, for letting me take it out. Like I said, this is a used Roadmaster, but still, it is what's being made right now, and it's still a fantastic riding machine. So at any rate, this is the Rabid Hedgehog, once again at Indiana of Oklahoma City, on this beautiful Roadmaster. We'll catch you on that next review. You all stay safe out there.